Hey, the first time you hit power on the Denon AVR-S570BT and the room suddenly feels connected instead of just noisy, you realize your old setup wasn't bad, it was just holding everything back from what it could really be. This is for the kind of person who's stopped settling for thin TV audio, who's watched movies where dialogue floats without weight, where effects don't hit directionally, and where music feels flat instead of immersive. You know what confident, intentional sound feels like because you've lived with the frustration of missing presence, and you're done with excuses. Before anything else, check the current price and stock so you know what's available right now. Receivers this capable don't linger when people discover how much they improve the whole experience. You probably knew it was time to upgrade after one too many nights where the audio didn't match the moment, where action scenes felt hollow, where footsteps in games lacked direction, or where your favorite tracks didn't fill the room. You kept turning up volume, convinced louder would fix it, and it never really did. That's the moment you realize you've outgrown compromise. Walking up to this receiver feels like a release. The moment it powers up, everything feels intentional, dialogue stays clear and anchored, effects spread with purpose, and music gains depth without distortion. 4 8K HDMI inputs mean your visuals and audio finally speak the same language, and eARC keeps everything synced so you don't chase levels. Bluetooth streaming lets you send music effortlessly, and the Denon heritage means you don't just get sound, you get sound that feels refined. In real life, this changes how you interact with every piece of content. Movies feel more cinematic because sound rolls with the scene instead of fighting it. Games feel alive because audio cues actually inform you instead of just playing. Music doesn't just play, it resonates with clarity and balance. Even everyday TV shows feel more engaging because dialogue stays anchored and natural instead of buried or tinny. The feeling of performance here isn't about big numbers, it's about confidence. Once you've lived with sound that actually keeps pace with what you're watching and listening to, anything weaker feels like a step backward. If you're even a little curious, don't let random price swings or stock dips decide for you. AV receivers with this capability get snapped up quickly once people hear what they truly deliver. You might wonder if a mid-tier receiver can actually make that much difference. That doubt fades the moment audio spreads with intention instead of flatly. Calibration works quietly in the background so you spend less time adjusting and more time experiencing. And 5.2 channels means you get real depth without needing a complex setup. One pleasant surprise most people don't expect at first is how balanced everything feels, not just louder, not just fuller, but purposeful. Quiet moments retain detail. Intense passages have presence. Dialogue sits where it belongs. Sound feels clear and anchored, effects spread with intention, music gains coherent depth, every scene feels more immersive, your room finally sounds connected, it needs thoughtful placement, and once you hear this, weak audio feels flat at some point, the comparison loop just ends. You stop flipping between specs and go with the system that already feels like the one you'd actually live with, the setup that matches how you want to experience every scene, every soundtrack. If you've outgrown thin staging, muddled detail, and receivers that don't keep up with modern content, don't let this be the upgrade you delay and regret later. Check availability now, decide with confidence, and let your audio finally keep pace with the way you watch and listen.